Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namah. Hare Krishna. So last week we discussed Dhritarashtra leaves home, yeah? And then we know how Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling at loss. He was feeling sad at the loss of not able to see Dhritarashtra, Gandhari. And next day when he got up and when he performed his morning puja and he gave charity to the Brahmanas, then he came and he was looking for Dhritarashtra. Because that was his daily routine. He will come and he will pay his obeisances to Dhritarashtra. But he could not find him and then he got worried. And then he asked Sanjay, who was the personal secretary of Dhritarashtra. Sanjay also said that I am also feeling sad, I can't see my master. And then he could not find Vidurji. And as Dhritarashtra was lamenting, then Naradji came. And Naradji then told Yudhishthira Maharaj that what you are worrying about is not worth worrying. And then one of the very important words that he spoke, very powerful, very potent. So he tells Yudhishthira Maharaj that this body is Kal Karma Gunadhino. Kal Karma Gunadhino Deho Ayam Pancha Bhautika. So first of all, this body, which is made up of 5 gross elements. And this is under the control of Kal, Karma and Gun. Whatever actions we are performing under the influence of material modes, whichever modes we are in, and as per the time, then that's the next destination for the body. That's how it is controlled. And then he tells him, Katham, how can you give protection to others? Katham anyastu gopayet. How can you protect the others with this body? That body which itself is under the influence of the time. Kala sarpo grast param. Yeah, which is under the influence of the Kal. It is like you can say mendak. What is it called in English? Frog. Yes, a frog is trying to catch hold of a mosquito, and as frog is about to jump, from behind snake catches him, and then frog is still taking his tongue out and he somehow wants to catch the mosquito, but can he catch it? So similarly, that is our position. We are ourselves are under the influence of Kal. The time is running behind us, right? So our end is closure. The Kal Sarp is running behind us. So how can we take responsibility for others' protection? So that was very important instruction given by Naradji to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj understood. And then Naradji told him that after 5 days, this is how Dhritarashtra Maharaj is going to leave his body. And then he also gave him an important instruction that that Supreme Personality of Godhead, yeah, he has appeared on this planet Earth as the time himself, as the great time. Yeah. So I am Kalo Maharaj, yeah, Bhagavan, that Supreme Personality of Godhead has come, has appeared on this earth as Kal, as time personified himself. Yeah. Kalo ayam avatirno. He has appeared as Kal, right? And why he has appeared for? That Bhagavan Bhut Bhavana, who is the protector of everyone, from whom everything has come, that Supreme God. And he has also come Bhavaya Suradvisham, who are envious of demigods. He has come to annihilate them. And he says, once he completes his pastime, he has almost completed his pastime. He has done that because by the time Mahabharata war had happened, a lot of demons were killed. Demons as well as on this side, on the Pandava side also, a lot of they were killed, right? And he says he got little bit of time left. Avashesham pratikshate. Nishpaditam surkaryatam. Yeah. He has completed the work of the demigods. Avashesham pratikshate. You just wait for some time until that activity is completed. And he said, Tavad yuyam avek dhaksham. Yeah, until such time, you please wait. Yeah, bhaved yavad ihe ishvara. As long as that Supreme Personality of Godhead is here on this earth, he has completed his pastime by annihilating all the demons, by clearing the earth of its burden. Yes, Suradvisham. And as long as he's here, you wait. And that instruction Naradji gave to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj understood. Yeah. And then suddenly, then today's chapter is disappearance of Lord Krishna. So the last chapter was retirement of Dhritarashtra, disappearance of Lord Krishna, and then in the next chapter it will be Pandavas take retirement, and then after 2 chapters, Parikshit Maharaj takes retirement. So that is the purpose of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Yes, we all learn how to retire. We all develop that loving affection towards Supreme Lord, and we get ready for the retirement. So that is the whole purpose. Yeah, and that's what Sud Goswami told, that that I'm going to speak to you about this, which gives rise to Krishna Kathayodayam. Yes, Vakshaye Krishna Kathayodayam. I'm going to tell this pastime. And what was this pastime about? That Parikshito Ath Rajarishi, that Parikshit Maharaj, his liberation, and then the denouncement of Pandavas. So I'm going to speak to you about that Katha, I'm going to speak to you about them, which gives rise to Krishna Katha. So you see, so the whole concept is ultimately it culminates into the Krishna Katha, into the glorification of Lord Shri Krishna. So today we will discuss about the disappearance of Lord Krishna. Let's do Mangalacharan and then we will discuss. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvita Tam Sajivam Savadetam Savadhutam Parijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bharevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhuter Mahadbhir Priyayima Puro Vibho Nirmaya Shete Yadamosha Purusha Bhumte Gunan Shodashatmakam Solanka Srashta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanaagatam Katha Amritam Satata Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishide Janma Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishide Janma Prasannam. Hare Krishna. So Naradji, after giving instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he leaves for his abode. And here now Sut Goswamiji continues the katha. So he tells Shaunakadi Rishi that after Naradji has left, then he goes back to the conversation and he starts to, because I mentioned last time that Arjun was absent. Arjun was not there when Vidurji came. And if you remember, if you go back to Prabhas Kshetra, there Vidurji met Uddhav, and Uddhavji had met Maitreya Rishi first. Now Maitreya Rishi went to Haridwar. Vidurji comes and he meets Uddhavji, and Uddhavji then instructs Vidurji that you go and speak to Maitreyaji. He will be able to give you more details about the Lord's pastime, and he can answer your questions, because Vidurji had a lot of questions. He had been to pilgrimage and then he was asking questions. Yeah, so he sends him to Haridwar, and then from there Vidurji then comes to Hastinapur. He came to Hastinapur and then he took Dhritarashtra with him. And we also discussed that Vidurji did not mention to Pandavas about the departure of Lord Krishna or what had happened in the Yadu dynasty. We will discuss that in 11th canto in detail. But as you know, before Lord Krishna went back to his abode, all the Yadavas, they fought among themselves and they killed each other. So the whole Yadu dynasty was destroyed or annihilated by fighting among themselves. But Vidurji knew everything because he had heard from Uddhavji. He did not mention anything at all. And on this side, Arjun had already gone to Dwarka. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he had sent Arjun to Dwarka. And here, so Sut Goswamiji continues and he says that Samprasthite Dwarakayam Jishno Bandhur Didikshaya Gnatum cha Punya Shlokasya Krishnasya cha Vicheshtitam. So Arjun had gone to Dwarka. Arjun's name here is called Jishno. Yeah? And Jishno means the one who has no competitor, who defeats all his competitors. So that is the position of Arjun. In Mahabharata, Arjun himself gives the explanation of his names. Why is he called Savyasachi? Why is he called Dhananjay? Why is he called Jishnu? Why is he called Arjun? So in Mahabharata, all the explanations are there. So he himself says why he is called Jishnu. So he says because he has defeated all the competitors. He cannot be suppressed. He suppresses others. He defeats everyone. So that is the position of Arjun. So that's what now Sut Goswami is saying, that Arjun had gone to Dwarka to do what? Bandhur Didikshaya. To see, to meet. And because he was very close to them. And then the other important factor is Gnatum cha Krishnasya, Gyatum cha Punya Shlokasya, Krishnasya cha Vicheshtitam. What is the next program of Lord Krishna? Because after Mahabharata war had ended, Lord Krishna was in Hastinapur. He installed Yudhishthira Maharaj as king. Then Lord Krishna also came when Parikshit Maharaj was born, and he was there for the naming ceremony of Parikshit Maharaj. And then Lord Krishna went back. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj was keen to know what are his plans. What is he going to do? And then Sud Goswami ji is saying, he is gone. And then he says, Where tita kachitin masas tada na ayat tato Arjuna. Many months had passed, but Arjun did not come back. Where tita? Many months had passed, masan tada, then, and na ayat tato Arjuna. Arjun did not come back. And then here Yudhishthira Maharaj, Dadarsha Ghora Rupani Nimittani Kuru Udva. He started seeing ghor, very scary. He started seeing very scary omens, the symptoms of the upcoming times. Ghor Rupani, Nimittani. And he was wondering, what is it going to lead now? Ghor Kuru Udvaha, the king of the Kuru, Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then he started worrying. So he still had Bhima there with him. Yeah. So now let's look at what kind of symptoms he was seeing. Yeah. He was seeing irregularity in the time. Let me share my screen. And you can relate to a lot of them. Actually, all of them you can relate. Because this was when? This was 5,000 years ago. Okay, is it okay, Mathen? Yes. Tell me if it is. Okay, is it? Yeah? Yeah, I think once it's fine. Okay, yeah. So, the disappearance of Lord Krishna. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj does not know that Lord Krishna has departed, but he is getting some bad omens. Huh? So, this is roughly summary of this chapter, and then we will look at. So, Maharaj Yudhishthira suspects the disappearance of Krishna, because in the previous chapter, Naradji had told Yudhishthira Maharaj that you wait. Nishpaditam deva krityam avashesham pratikshate. Lord Krishna has performed the task of demigods. Avashesham pratikshate. There is some little bit left, so he is waiting for that. And as he is here, tavad yuyam, you Pandavas, until such time, you Pandavas, tavad yuyam avadheksham. Yeah, you also wait and watch. Yes, bhaved yavad iheshwara. Until such time that Supreme Lord is here, you wait. But now Yudhishthira Maharaj started seeing that bad omens. Yeah, so he started suspecting maybe Lord Krishna has left this abode. Bad omens experienced by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Then Arjun returns from Dwarka, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj makes inquiries from Arjun, and then first he made indirect inquiries, that is everything okay? How are our cousins, our aunties, everyone, are they doing well? Right? And then he finally started making direct inquiries. Yeah? And then Yudhishthira inquires about Arjun's activities, and finally he asks about the disappearance of Lord Shri Krishna. So disappearance of Krishna. Now, is it size okay, Matani? Inauspicious omens observed by Maharaj Yudhishthira. So what he sees a fearful change of time and irregularities in the season. Kalasya cha gatim rodram viparyas ritur dharmina. Kal ki gati. Yeah? The fearful. The time is going. The sun was still going around. But what happened? You can say the season was changing. When it is supposed to rain, it is very hot. When it's supposed to very winter, then it is raining. So this change happened. The change of time and the irregularities of the season. So you can experience that now, right? Very often we say we did not expect it started raining so much. So this is a sign. This is a sign. So if something like this happens within your own routine, within your own bodies, we suspect something is not right. So if at all, these are the things which are telling us that, you know, we should not think that this is a permanent place for us. Yes, yeah. That's what Shripad Shankaracharya in that bhajan Bhaj Govindam. So one of the words there it says is that Kate Kanta Kastai Putra Sansaro Ayam Ativ Vichitra Kasya Tamka Kut Ayate Tattvam Chintaya Tadih Bhrata. So he's saying, Kate Kanta Kastai Putra. Who is your wife? Who is your son? Sansaro Ayam Ativ Vichitra. This samsara is very vichitra. Vichitra is, you can say, it is very, it is not easily understood. But also, if you break the word, vi means vishesh and chitra means an image. So this is just a special image, chitra. You know, as we see a chitra, a photo, a scenery, how people have in their house. I told you last time there was this Prabhu in Gosford. Every day he will go in his balcony and he see the ocean and he thinks, oh, my world is safe. But no, that's not it. Yeah. So this is very vichitra. Yeah. And then Kasya Tamka Kutayat. Who do you belong to? There is a very nice inquiry. You know, let me just deviate a little bit, but just while we're discussing of the tattva, yeah, that's what Shripad Shankaracharya is saying. Tattvam chintya tadih bhrata. Is tattva ki chinta karo. Try to understand this tattva. Now in Mahabharata, when Vaishampayanji is speaking to Janmeja Maharaj, so in one pastime, what happened is all the warriors who died, Janmeja Maharaj then said that I want to get their darshan. And then Vyasji comes there, and Vyasji with his powers, he called all the warriors who had died in the Mahabharata war, from Kaurava side and Pandava side. They all appear from the Ganges. As they all appear from the Ganges, then all the widows from the both sides, they go and they also go and take a dip into the Ganges, and they say that the next day they all go back to the abode of their husbands. They go back and join them. Now Janmeja Maharaj asked a question to Vaishampayan Rishi that I have one more question. And that question is, people who have died, who have gone back, then how can they come back within the same body? Right? A genuine question. Tattvam iha, tattvam. We should chinta. We should think about it. He said how they can come back. And then Vaishampayan, Vaishampayan is a disciple of Vyasadeva. So he's narrating Mahabharata to him. So he answered his question. So he says to him, first of all, he says one thing that you need to understand is this body which is made of Panch Bhautika. That's what Naradji told Yudhishthira Maharaj. Deho ayam Panch Bhautika. So he said, this sharir is anitya. Okay. Let's focus. So he says, this sharir is anitya. So this body is impermanent. Yes. But he says the 5 elements from which this body is made, they are permanent. Yes. You're getting the point. The earth, water, fire, ether, and air, they are permanent. When the creation starts, when Mahavishnu impregnates Mahat Tattva, right? So that Mahat Tattva has everything. Just think of it as a lump of, you can say, dough. You mix the dough. So that's how it is before the universe takes the egg form. So it is just a lump of that. In that, all these 5 elements are there, right? The 3 modes of nature are also in there. When the Supreme Lord impregnates that, then there is a movement of these 3 modes of nature. And from the movement of the 3 modes of nature, that's when the creation starts. So that's why Naraji is saying, Kal karma gunadhino deho ayam panchabhutika. Made of 5 elements. So, and now these 5 body is impermanent, but these 5 elements are permanent. Number 1. Then he says the soul, Kshetragya. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about the Kshetragya. He explains. So Kshetragya is Jivatma. Right? That Jivatma is also permanent. Yes? So that Jivatma is permanent. These 5 elements are permanent. They are Nitya. Right? Even though this body is Anitya. And then he says, we get this body, Akriti. As per our karmas, as per our activities, we get this body. Even the Akriti, even the shape that you got. You know, some people say, why my body is like this, why it is like this. So this is all Vaishampayan Rishi saying, all based on your karmas. So you get a body, you get Akriti, the shape. Some people are born handicapped. Why is that? Think of it. Because of karmas. It is all because of your karma. And the karma by body, the body suffers, and the karma by thought, man, then man carries the karma, right? So man and sharir. So we perform activities. So if sometimes we think that if I'm performing any action by body, but even if you are thinking, remember Bali Maharaj's sister, when Lord Vamandev arrested Bali Maharaj, then his sister was standing there. And looking at Vamandev, she said, oh, such a beautiful boy. You know, I would like to breastfeed him like a mother. And to fulfill that desire, she just thought about it. Then she took birth as Putana. And she became a demigod. So whatever karma you are doing with your mind, with your body, you will get equivalent body. Obviously, it depends on if you want to be a big wrestler, if you want to be a, whatever you want to be. You will get that in your next birth, wherever you go. But then the cycle just continues. So here Vaishampayanji then tells Janmeja Maharaj that now whoever does these karmas without any attachment, that is the best position, and that will lead to liberation and mukti. Otherwise, they will keep coming back. So it was in their karma to come back and perform this task also. That is why they had to come back. So he said that body is not destroyed. So these 5 elements are permanent. That particular form and akriti, that shape gets destroyed. But these 5 elements, when we die, they go and merge back into the Mahattat, right? So that still exists. Yeah. So going back to our conversation, now, as we were saying, a fearful change of time and irregularities in the seasons, right? So we should not think we are permanent or anything is permanent. Things are changing. You know, Prabhupada very clearly, he has also mentioned that a chicken that is being killed, its soul is in the air. So that soul is giving curse, or or whatever they are thinking. If they are thinking bad about it, then that chicken is going to come back and kill you in the next birth. Right? So we are basically disturbing by our actions, by our karmas, we are disturbing the equilibrium of the nature. So that's what it means to. So a fearful change of time and irregularities in the seasons. So that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj noticed that. Yeah. And the reason for that is, or the reason behind that is what? Our karmas. Yeah. Now next. He also noticed people becoming greedy, deceitful, and adopting foul means of livelihood. Yeah. Papi yasim nirnam varta krodh lobhanu nirta atmanam. People becoming greedy. I mean, takes, for example, very simple. When you go to shops in India, very often you go to old shops and the shopkeeper will say, "Are inke liye chai le aao." Right? Chai le aao, bring tea for them, bring something. So they will try to get you snack. And you say, no. And he said, no, you are our guest. What do you think? They are doing it for free? No, they are going to charge it into the bill. So it's going to be charged back to you. right? And now we're seeing there are plastic rice. Yeah? Plastic rice. In India, they are selling milk with surf powder in that, so they are making milk like that. Yes. Yeah? This is the height of greediness. Now, whoever is consuming that or whoever is preparing that, then somehow or other they will have to come back. So this is what Yudhishthira Maharaj noticed 5,000 years ago. So now where are we heading? Yeah, deceitful, foul means of livelihood. In any way, by hook or crook, you want to make money. And Srila Prabhupada says that if you have bhog ichha, if you have desires to fulfill, to satisfy your senses, then people can do anything. Bahir mukha jeev bhogavansha kare. What is the meaning of deceitful? Deceit. Deceitful. Deceit. Fraud. Fraud. Oh. You know, you say something, you do something else. I'm saying you, I'm selling you something. You know, I mean, there are so many examples. I'm sure at some point you all have been cheated, right? You all have been cheated regularly. You being cheated, right? So, so this was 5,000 years ago. Now the situation has deteriorated even further. Packaging is different. The contents are different, right? So these are the bad signs. So Parikshit Maharaj or Yudhishthira Maharaj was seeing those signs. Then dealings were filled with deception and friendship mixed with cheating. In the name of friendship, we see what is happening these days. Friends are cheating friends. People say, oh, you are my brother. I'm like your brother and this and that. No. So these bad omens he started experiencing. Strain and quarreling amongst the family members. Yeah. Pitri matri suhrad bhratri dampatti nam kalkanam. Yeah. Father and son. I was hearing there was in India, there was this boy, young boy, he was looking for a job. But retirement age in India was 60 years. So there is a condition there in government job, if father dies, the son will get the job. The son killed his father when he was 59-year-old something. He thought he's going to retire. But if he dies when he's in the service, the son is given government job. So he killed his father. The same person that he's born from. Yeah. Brothers. Look at Mahabharata. They experience everything. But now you see the situation. Mother and you know, I mean, there was one Prabhu who teaches in the school, and he is a teacher. So one day he was telling some students, you keep quiet. And one of the students, he was still playing on the phone, and he told him that you stop playing on the phone, otherwise I'm going to call your mom. And then he says, okay, yeah, call her and tell the bitch to make me some breakfast in the morning. This is here in the school. Sorry to say that, but I think, you know, there is some learning from that. This is a respect for the mother. Now, who is to blame? And so on and so on. Yeah. So this is how. And husband, wife. Husband, wife. I mean, I don't need to speak about that, but you know, we are all experiencing. There are prenuptial bonds, prenuptial agreements being signed between husband and wife. Before the marriage, what will I get after the marriage? You know, they're already signing the papers. If the divorce happens, who will get what share and etc. etc. So they are missing the point. If this situation, then I mean, end of the day, how many more years you're going to live? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And as you grow older, your senses are failing anyway. Right? Your eating is reduced by 50%. Right? Your bodily needs are reducing. Yes? What is your name? Lagan. Very good. Good. Yeah. So our bodily needs are reducing anyway. But these things were happening at that time. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj saw all these omens, he started worrying. And then he spoke to Bhim. And then he told Bhim that Sampreshito Dwarakayam Jishno Bandhur Didikshaya. Same, sort of same. What was the verse number 1? This is verse number 6 also. Now he's speaking to him. He says that I had sent, Sampreshito Dwarakayam, Jishno Bandhur Didikshaya. I had sent Arjun to see and to meet with Bandhu, our dear friends, Yadavas. I had sent him to Dwaraka. Gnatum cha Krishnasya. Gnatum cha Punya Shlokasya Krishnasya cha Vicheshtitam. What is the next program of Lord Krishna? I had sent Arjun and he hasn't come back. 7 months have passed. In the second verse, Sut Goswamiji is saying, but now Yudhishthira Maharaj starts speaking to him that 7 months have passed and still Arjun hasn't come. What has happened? And then he says, Deva Rishin Adishta Sa Kalo Ayam Upastita. He says, as Deva Rishi Narad had said, maybe that time has come. Because Deva Rishi Narad had told him that Supreme Lord's activity are completed. He has protected, or the people have been killed. The demigods are now safe, because demigods and Brahmaji, they had went and prayed to Supreme Lord to appear. Vinashaya cha duskritam sambhavami yuge yuge. So he has done the vinash. So now Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking, maybe Dev Rishina Adishta, what Dev Rishi Narad had said, Sa Kalo Ayam Upastita. Maybe that time has presented itself. Because he was already seeing all these bad omens. And then he says, Yad Atmano, Yad Atmano Anga Akridam, Bhagavan Ut Sisrikshitaya. Bhagavan Ut Sisrikshiti. So he says, maybe that time has come, that Supreme Lord, Anga Akridam, Anga as in his Vigraha, Akridam as in his Leela. Maybe that time has come for him to wind up his pastimes, his Vigraha and his Leelas, and he is about to go back. Maybe that time has come back. He's speaking to him. And then in that speaking, in that worry also, now he's glorifying the Supreme Lord. He's giving all the credit to the Supreme Lord. He says, Yasman na sampado rajyam. Yasman na sampado rajyam prana. Kulam praja. Because of him only, that Supreme Lord only, we got sampada. We got all this opulence, we got because of him. Our prana, dara. So these are the signs that, as you can relate to, that we are experiencing. There are, there is fight going on. There are volcanoes. There are storms. There are tsunami. Lagan, you see all these things we hear in the news. Yes, people are fighting. You see the drought situation. All these bad signs are happening. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, we got all our opulence because of that Supreme Lord. We were able to defeat our enemies. Asan sapatna vijayo lokascha yad anugrahat. Because of his mercy upon us, we were able to defeat our enemies. And then he says to Bhimdev that Pasha. Pasha utpatan nara vyagra. So he says utpat. You understand utpat as in all these, these are the calamities, but at that time people fighting, people stealing, people killing each other. That's what is called utpat. So he says all these utpat are happening, and he is addressing Bhim as nara vyagra, the tiger among men. So the significance is that Bhim, even though you are so strong, but you are not able to do anything about it. So if at all we have any illusion that using my strength, using my wealth, using my opulence, I can control Kal, I can control time, I can control the movement of the time, that is, in the first line itself is taken away. So he said, I'm seeing Pasha. Pasha means see and think. Just doesn't mean you see. Right? While I'm saying see this, you see this, but you also think. Why is it happening? You got to think about it. Today there was a news, there is a Chinese airline plane, only 6 years old, and the plane just crashed. Now they are finding black box. I mean, all those efforts are going, which they should do, nothing wrong about it. But the point is, when the society is getting godless society. Srila Prabhupada, once he wrote to Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the president of India. He was trying to preach, he was trying to start this movement. And he was literally homeless. He will come from Vrindavan to Delhi, he will look for a place where to stay. He will go, there was no plan for him. He won't know where will he get his next meal. But he was writing, he did not stop. So he wrote to Dr. Rajendra Prasad. I think he also wrote to Lal Bahadur Shastri. Whoever was there, he wrote to everyone. And he says, in one of the letters, he says, I'm crying alone in bewilderment. I'm crying. Crying for what? For us. And it is because of him only that we have these books. We are able to discuss Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam here. But all these calamities. So he did not know where will the next meal come from, where will he stay, what will happen next. Yeah. So all these calamities, so we think. So the point that I'm saying is, we think about it. We should process the information. You know how, if this Prabhu tells you, I bought a house, we don't stop there. We say, oh, how did you get it? Where did the money come from? Is it good price there? Right? So the processing has begun. Similarly, by seeing this, the processing should begin. We should start thinking about it. So that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying to Bhim. Pashya utpat etan. All these utpat, all these calamities. And he says 3 types of calamities. Devan, Adhidevik. Yeah. Bhuman, Adibhautik. The earthly, all these are earthly calamities. You know, there is no drinking water. The drinking water table, I don't know here, but back in India, I remember in my village, they will say they used to get water at 10 feet. 10 feet they dig and they'll be get plenty of water. Now they're going 100 feet down. There's no drinking water. Bhuman. So these are the Adibhautik calamities. Sadehikan. The bodily calamities within your own body. So many diseases. This body, they say, it's a bag of stool and urine. What is there inside the body? The body that we decorate so happily. Right? I mean, there is nothing wrong in that. We should do that when we're going in front of Krishna. Right? This is our Vigraha, because inside us there is Paramatma. But the whole point is we should detach. We should, the moment we start considering I'm this body, that's where the problem begins. And then me and mine, then all the attachment related to the body, then that we just get hung on to that. That's what Naradji told Yudhishthira Maharaj. Please remember that line again and again. Yeah. Kal karma gunadhino deho ayam panch bhautika. This body is under the influence of Kal, karma and time. You cannot save anyone else. Yeah, because you yourself are in the mouth of the Kal Sarp. Kal Sarp is already swallowing you. If I'm 40 years old, then that means I've gone 40 inside the Kal Sarp mouth. If I'm 50-year-old, I'm already in the Kal Sarp. So Kal Sarp is slowly grabbing me. You know, if this is it, then I'm already here. Only this much left. Think like that, right? So Kal Sarp is coming to grab us. Yeah. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, oh Bhim, I'm seeing all these calamities. Daruna, they are very severe calamities. Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. And then he says, I'm suspecting that now that time has come. Yeah. Now that time has come that Supreme Lord is going to wind up his pastime and he is going to go back. And then he says, why is it that Arjun hasn't come back? Yeah. And then if he further sees some bad omens. So let's look at that, what he's seeing. Yeah. So body. Now within the body, these are the symptoms. The left side of my body thighs, arms, and eyes are quivering, and heart palpitations due to fear. Very often we say, mere baएं ang, the left side of my body is quivering, right? So these are the signs. These are the signs that something unwanted, something unexpected is going to happen. And mind you, whatever is going to happen will happen. But this is more of a reminder to us that my only shelter is Supreme Lord. No one else can save me. Yes? Only shelter is Supreme Lord. So this is what we should, the more we ignore these things, the more we are, getting towards the ignorance, and then more we are inching away from the Supreme Lord. So that is the whole point. Just remember. So that's what he is experiencing. Then at the body level he feels. Then the animals, the jackals howling at sunrise and vomiting fire. Prabhuji, is it readable? Yeah. Yeah. Then the dog barking fearlessly. Speaking of dog, I just read one news recently. Somebody in one family, they bought a dog. They bought a dog to, as a family friend. They bought a dog, and it was only 1.5 weeks. They had the dog in the house. Right? And they had a 14-month, nice, cute, little, beautiful girl. And the dog just killed the girl. He just tore her apart. They bought the dog as a family friend, but then what can you do? And the whole family was devastated, and they are now, police is investigating whether the shopkeeper sold the dog as a proper breed. Did he lie to them that this is this breed and they wanted that breed? But what can you do? Can anyone do anything about it? You can blame on the shopkeeper, you can blame on police, you can blame on these people. But the point to understand is that, ultimately it is all the destiny. Kal karma gunadhe. Let's memorize this line. We often get agitated that why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? But the more and more troubles come, the more and more we surrender to Krishna. The more and more we remember him. That's what Yudhishthira Maharaj did. He gave all the credit. He said, the wives, he says, wives, Dara, Prana, Sampada, Kul, Praja, our son, our children, whatever we got because of mercy of the Supreme Lord. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, the dog is barking at me fearlessly. The cows are passing on my left. Normally, all the good things, we go clockwise. That is why when Tulsi Maharani is there, we do parikrama clockwise, so that it is on your right hand side. When you go to Vrindavan, if people are doing parikrama, as much as you can go on the, as if there is a tree here, so normally you will see devotees, if you are walking this way and there is a tree here, then they will go and they will pass like this. They will go a little bit further. So everything, all the trees, right? The cows, so that we can try. Yeah, they should be on your right hand side. But here Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying the cows are passing on my left, and the asses are circumambulating me. The donkeys are going around him. My horses are weeping. So all these bad omens he's experiencing. Yeah. And then he said, birds, pigeon is like a messenger of death. Shrieks of owls and their rival crows make my heart tremble. So owls and crows, they are just making noise whole night, not stopping. They are rivals of each other. These are all the bad omens that he is experiencing. So body, animals, birds, and then cattle. The cows do not drink the mother's milk, nor do the cows give milk. Nowadays, you see, they use machine that is literally sucking the milk, forcibly. Just before in one of the previous chapters, if you remember, we discussed that cows will wet the pasturing grounds with the milk. There was so much milk they were giving. As they were walking, the milk will naturally come out. And they were wetting the pasturing grounds with the milk. And now Yudhishthira Maharaj himself is experiencing that cows have stopped giving milk. See, the changing times. The bulls take no pleasure in the pasturing grounds. They don't want to go in the pasturing grounds and eat grass. Earlier they used to go around and graze. So that is changing. Yeah. Deities seem to be crying in the temple, lamenting and perspiring. We had if you remember, at our Mayapur temple, Shri Radha Madhav temple, there was an attempt to steal. Somebody took away, or they tried to take away Radharani's deity. Some dacoits came. And then later on it was found that, there was some irregularities happening at the temple. Some people staying at the temple, they were having illegitimate relationship, etc. Some pujari noticed there was perspiring. The deities were, like sweat. So they experienced that. Once Srila Prabhupada visited a temple and he noticed the deities. And he told the pujaris, they look very weak. Have you been feeding them regularly? And they said, Prabhupada, we don't have enough ration and we are not able to cook regularly. Something like that. They were not cooking like 3 times or as many times bhoga is to be offered. They were not offering bhogas. Prabhupada could see that. He said, I see the black circles around their eyes. So they reciprocate. They reciprocate. In Mumbai, the tailor who does the stitching for the deities is a Muslim. In Radha Gopinath temple, he's a Muslim. And then once he was taking the measurement, and then he made a statement. He said, they have grown big. The mukut that he used to make, those same size mukut will not fit them now. That was his realization. Mukut will not fit. He said they have grown bigger. Yes. So deities respond. I told you that nice story in Vrindavan. Okay, maybe let me share with you again. There was this pujari in Vrindavan. He was getting old. So he was one day he was dressing Banke Bihari. Not our Banke Bihari temple, but I think one of the temples. They're all divine there, any temple. He was dressing the deities and he was getting older. And he was trying to fit the mukut of Shyam Sundarji. And he was putting, as he will put the mukut, then Shyam Sundarji will shake his head. And then as he put the mukut, he turned around and then he says the mukut is not in position. He will then fix the mukut again. And like this was happening few times. And then he was the only servant. And he had so many things to do. Then he turned around and he told Shyam Sundar, he said, this time you move, I'm going to slap you. As they say in Mathura, what language what boli they speak? Brijvasi. Yeah. So he spoke in Brij Bhasha. He said, "Ab ke tu jo hilo, tere kaan ke niche ek marunga. This time if you move, I'm going to give you one under your ears." And Shyam Sundar this time did not move. And he went away and he started doing his duties nicely, because he had to do cooking, he has to do everything, pujari, right? And then it was 4 o'clock. Yeah. Then Shyam Sundar, he's sleeping, resting time, and I think 4 o'clock the darshan opens. So he was fanning. As he was fanning, then because he was getting a bit older, then somehow the pujari tried, dozed off. And he dozed off, the fan hit Shyam Sundar's mukut. As the fan hit Shyam Sundar's mukut, then Shyam Sundar slapped him. Shyam Sundar slapped him kaan ke niche. And then that pujari got very upset. Tune mere maro? He's telling Shyam Sundar, you hit me? Ja, ab nahi karta main teri seva. I'm not going to serve you anymore. What do you think? इतने सालों से मैं तेरी सेवा कर रहा हूं. I've been serving you for many years and you are hitting me. I'm not going to serve you. Go. And pujari leaves the altar room, and he goes in his room and he sleeps. Now the president of the temple comes and he sees Bhagwan akele hai, the Lord is alone by himself, there is no one there. So he looks for the pujari and he wakes him up. He says, "What are you doing?" He said, "Nahi, main nahi ja raha hu." He said, "No, what happened?" He said, "What happened? See, o kare ne mere gaal pe maro. That Kalia, that Kalu, he hit my God." And as the president of the temple saw, he started crying. He said, "Oh, you are so fortunate. You got hit by Shyam Sundar." And then he composed himself. He said, "Okay, koi baat nahi, don't worry. Let's go and talk to him. Main baat karunga usse. Tu chal." And he convinced him to come with him. And then he went in front of Shyam Sundar. And now he's talking to Shyam Sundar. He's telling Shyam Sundar, "Yaake kyun maro tumne? Why did you hit him?" And then Shyam Sundar said, "Kyun nahi maru usko? He told me in the morning, main tere kaan ke niche marunga agar hila to." In the morning, he said, "I'll give you under your ears if you move." But then he hit my mukut with his fan. So I gave him back. And then Pujari said, president said, "That is okay. But wo to apne room mein jaake so gaya. He went and slept in his room. Now who is going to serve you?" And then Shyam Sundar started thinking. And then Shyam Sundar says, "Okay, what to do?" Then president says, "What to do? Maafi mango isse." And then it is said that Shyam Sundar asked forgiveness from Pujari. These pastimes happen. Deities respond. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj saw that the deities were crying. He could feel that. Yeah. They seem about to leave. So that is the sign. So if you experience any of these omens, body, animal, birds, cattle, if anything like this happens, be prepared. There is something wrong in our service to the Supreme Lord. So let's correct ourselves. Then places, all the cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are not devoid of beauty and happiness. You go around, you see so many artificially they are trying to decorate. You know how we say Kunja Vihari. So in Vrindavan, there used to be real Kunj. I mean, they're still there. We can't see them. Let's because they're all divine, right? But you see naturally, the places and everything. They've all lost their glories. And then Panch Bhutas. Yeah. Then these Panch Bhutas, these 5 elements, right? These 5 elements are there, isn't it? In Bhagavatam 3rd canto, we'll discuss Lord's Virat Roop. So this is the universal form of the Lord. The trees are the hairs on his body. That's how it is. So they Panchbhut, now smoke in the sky, mountains throbbing, cloudless thunder. As they say, jo garaste wo baraste nahi. There is just thunderous, but there is no rain. They are happening so much. Yeah. You see earth is shaking. Yeah. Wind blows violently and clouds rain blood. In the literal sense, what it means is rain is supposed to be, good for the earth, right? Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. Lord Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Annad bhavanti bhutani. The living entities, they are born or they survive by taking the grains, right? And the grains happen because of the rain. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Yeah. Parjanyo anna. Parjanyo is called rain. Because of the rain, we get the grains. Yeah. But now these rains, as they are so severe, you just notice yourself. So many, it flooded the cities. People are sitting on their rooftops. Insurance claim, this claim, that claim, so many things. But that is not a good sign. Seasonal change, time change. When it is supposed to be hot, it's raining. So that's the sign. Yeah. Then sun's rays declining and stars appear to be fighting. Sun's rays declining. In some cities back in India, we don't see the sun, clear sun in Delhi. Right? They say when COVID lockdown, they could see the mountain peaks from UP, from Uttar Pradesh. They could see the mountain peaks. Himalaya mountain peaks they can see from such a distance. Earlier they're not visible because it's all smoky. Yeah. So sun's rays are declining. Confused living entities appear ablaze. Yeah. We are all confused living entities. Appear ablaze. They are on fire all the time, angry, trying to pick up a fight for no reason. People are doing that. Rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mind are perturbed. That is why they say flood. All these floods happening, rivers just overflowing. They're disturbed. Ghee no longer ignites the fire. No matter how much ghee you pour, you put ghee and it's actually the fire goes down. We have to use that camphor. Camphor, we call it. We use camphor to light the fire. But in earlier days, you just put the ghee and the fire it will take. But now we use camphor to light it up and then we put ghee on it. So this is a sign. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was experiencing all these bad omens. And as he was experiencing bad omens, then he was talking and then suddenly it says that Arjun comes. As he was thinking about these bad omens, and then he's telling him that Manne, he says, now he talks about the great fortune of the earth. He says, looks like the Supreme Lord has departed and the great fortune of the earth is now gone. And that great fortune was because the earth is not the Supreme Earth has lost the touch of the feet of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavata Padai. He says, Manne Mahot Paten. So earlier he was saying Utpat, and now he's saying Maha Utpat. These are all Maha Utpat. Right? So he says, Manne, I think these Maha Utpat. And because of this Maha Utpat, he says, Bhagavata Padai. The earth has now lost the touch of the feet of the Supreme Lord. You know, remember when Supreme Lord Krishna was going back, then Mother Kunti is praying. Mother Kunti is telling Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna, when he's getting on the chariot, right? Kunti Maharani prays. So she says to him, Neyam sobhishate tatra yathe danim gadadhara. Tvat padair ankita bhati swa lakshana vilakshite. She's saying to him, Neyam sobhishate tatra yathe danim gadadhara. O Gadadhar, O holder of the club Supreme Lord, because Tvat padair ankita bhati, because this earth is marked with your feet. Because this is marked with your feet, that is why that these ime janpada svriddha, that these janpada, these cities, these townships, they are so flourishing. Ime janpada svriddha, yeah, supaku aushadhi virud. Yeah, aushadhi, the medicines are coming, the vegetables are coming. All these towns and these cities, they are flourishing. Vanadri Nadda, yeah, one, the mountains, one as in forest, Adri, mountains, Nad Udanvanto, the rivers, the ocean, yeah, because Tav Vikshita, because your eyes are looking at them. That is why, my dear Lord, this earth, everything is flourishing. So now Yudhishthira Maharaj, see, that was when just before Lord Krishna left Hastinapur. And now within such a short time, yeah. And also, if you remember in the last chapter, Vidurji also pointed out to Yudhishthira Maharaj and to Dhritarashtra that this time is coming. Right? There he mentions, Sudha Goswami tells, they had wives, they had children. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj had a grandchild who is going to take over from him. So they were feeling happy. But Vidurji knew about it, what is going to come. That is why he took the risk. He said, no, don't get entangled in this. I know one one Prabhu here, he's a very good friend, and he had grandchildren. He was living here, and he made a decision. He had sons, 2 sons. He had 1 son, 2 daughters, all married. They had grandchildren. And he said, Vinod, I'm going to retire now. And his daughter will still tell him, can you pick up our children from the school? And then he tells me, I said no to them. I said, no. Now you manage yourself. Just consider that I'm not here. Our other migrants, they're not managing without their parents here. You manage. And he made a statement. He said, is Kichad se, from this daldal, we are trying to come out. But if I get involved into this, then I'm going to be sucked into it more and more, more and more, more and more. Then my heart will be attached to my grandchildren. He said, no, I have to detach myself. And he left this place, and he's living a bit further away. And very often we speak, and he tells me, morning he gets up, he feels sometimes, he feels he's missing his children, but he says, no, that is the only way. So yeah. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, then, so he's remembering, he's saying, maybe that time has come, that this earth has lost the touch of the feet of the Supreme Personality of God. As he was thinking about this, now Arjun walks in. Arjun comes back. As Arjun comes back, then Arjun pays his obeisances onto his feet. Tam padayor. So onto his feet. Yeah. Nipatitam. He put his head onto his feet. Arjun. Tam padayor nipatitam. Yeah. And then yatha apurvam aturam. But he was anxious, never like before. As Yudhishthira Maharaj saw Arjun, Arjun was anxious as he had never been before. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj looks at him. And then Adho Vadanam. Arjun is still his face down. Yeah. Ab Bindun. He is crying. The tears are flowing from his eyes. His face is dying. Ab Bindun Srijanti. Srijantam. Ab Bindu Srijantam. Abjayo, Nayan Abjayo. His lotus eyes, from his lotus eyes, he's crying. The tears are flowing down, and he's not speaking anything. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj, as he saw Arjun like this, then it says, in front of everyone in the assembly, Yudhishthira Maharaj started asking. Right? Now he started asking more questions. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquires about the welfare of the Yadus. Now he started asking from Arjun that what has happened. Sometime naturally, if somebody you are expecting, they come late, what is the first thought in our mind? Maybe some accident happened, maybe some, unexpected thing happened. So, but now as Arjun is coming, he's not talking. Now he's more concerned with Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he asks him, the first thing is he inquires, is everything okay where you had gone? So he starts asking about Yadu. Are our friends and relatives of the Yadu family passing their days in happiness? Is everything okay there? Are my grandfather Shur Sen, uncle Vasudev, and his brothers are doing well? So Vasudev is son of Shur Sen, and Shur Sen is brother of Agra Sen. Agra Sen's son is Kans. Okay. And Vasudev is married to Devaki. Yeah. One of the sons of him, his name is Devak. So, and then so that's how they're related. So they were all staying together now in Dwaraka. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, is Shur Sen okay? Is Ugra Sen okay? Right? And his brothers are doing well. Then he says, our aunts, Vasudev's wives. So just so you know, so Vasudev is their mama, Pandava's mama, if you know. So he's asking, is our mama okay? Yeah. Our mommy, auntie, is Devaki okay? And their daughter-in-laws. Yeah? Is everyone okay? Then Ugra Sen, then he names Ugra Sen, Hridika, Kritvarma, Akrur, Jayant, Gada, Sharan, and Satrujit are happy. How is Balaram the protector of the devotees? Satvata Prabhu. Balaramji is called Satvata Prabhu. He is the protector of the devotees. Balaramji decided not to take part in the war. He went on a pilgrimage. Yeah? So he's asking about it. How are Pradyumna and Aniruddha? Are they faring well? Who is Pradyumna? Son of Krishna. And who is Pradyumna's mother? Mata Rukmini. And Aniruddha is Pradyumna's son. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking. I mean, think of it. Arjun has gone to his mama's house, and there he is playing with his, his nephew and niece. Think of yourself when you go to your mama's house, right? How you will be playing with your cousins and their children. That is why he said, Didiriksha Bandhu, Bandhu Didrikshaya. Not just see the bandhus, but meet with them, spend time with them. Yeah, you just went to India, you went to your cousins and how the children were spending time. You had your children, cousins, they were playing some game or something, So like this you go. So Arjun was supposed to come back happy. Right? But now Yudhishthira Maharaj is worried. What? So he's asking Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And then are all the chieftains sons of Lord Krishna along with their sons are doing well? Lord Krishna, he had 6,108 wives. From every wife, he had 10 sons and 1 daughter. And then their children. So he had a huge, you can say, huge number of nephews, niece, and cousins to meet him. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is inquiring about, is everyone doing well? Then he says, are Shrutadev, Udhav, Nand, Sunand, and others protected by Krishna and Balaram? Yeah, Ram, Krishna, Bhujashraya doing well. Do they remember our welfare? Ram, Krishna, Bhujashraya, please remember that. Because they were living under the shelter of Ram and Krishna. If you think you are under the shelter of Ram and Krishna, you are protected. If you think you are under your own shelter, right? Sometimes we get puffed up that I'm under my own shelter, I'm doing everything. I've worked so hard. Prabhuji, I've come to Australia, I've arranged a house, I've got a job. My God, so many interviews, I had to clear the degree. I studied another thing. This is all at a body level. This is all the karmas that we have to do. Yeah. So very important. So he asked. Now, as he asked, finally he asked about the Lord Krishna. Now he says that Supreme Lord Krishna. Yeah. He says, Api Bhagavan Govindo Brahmante Bhakta Vatsala. After asking about, then he says that Bhagavan who is Bhakta Vatsal. Bhakta as in devotee, Vatsal as in Vats, who treats his devotees like Vats. Vats is word used for the calf. Vats means calf. Gai jaise apne bachde ko pyar karti hai. How a cow loves the calf. Similarly, Bhakt Vatsal, Bhagwan ke bare mein kaha gaya. So he's asking that Supreme Lord Krishna, who is Govinda, who is the master of the senses, who is protector of the cows, and Go is also mean earth. Gam Vindati iti Govinda, who is protector of the earth, right? Who is worshipping the Brahmanas. Brahmane, Bhakt Vatsala, Govinda, Bhagavan. All these, he's asking, how is he? Is he doing well? Right? I know he is protected. He's surrounded by his well-wishers. And then he asks one question about, he says, Kachid Pure Sudharmaya. Sudharma. So the assembly of Lord Krishna was called Sudharma. The big assembly hall. It was many miles wide and many miles long. And that assembly, it will squeeze. If the number of attendees are less, it will squeeze. If number of attendees are more, it will expand. This was the assembly. So he's asking about that Sudharmayam, in that assembly, that Lord Shri Krishna, Suhrada, who is surrounded by the Yadavas, is he doing well? Yeah. Now let me share with you, if you know about Sudharma assembly. So this is Sudharma assembly. This is just a picture, but there is a very nice pastime behind this. Let me share you these two things. So the below one is Prabhuji Mata. This is the Parijat tree. If you don't know about it, Parijat tree, but Parijat tree, it has come from the heaven. Once Narada Rishi, he came to Dwarka and he was carrying a Parijat flower with him. And as he was carrying that flower, he gave it to Krishna, that flower. He brought from heaven that flower. Those days, they used to travel. The demigods would travel. Even now, when you are doing your yagna at home, you are calling the demigods. They have to come. If you call nicely, the demigods come. And the demigods have that. I think once there was a discussion. The demigods have the powers to take multiple forms. Because if you're doing yagna in Australia, somebody doing yagna in India, they have to be present at both the places. They can create as many replica of themselves. They also have that vibhuti. They also have that shakti. So Naradji, he came from heaven. He bought a parijat flower. Parijat tree was only in heaven with Indra, in Indra's courtyard. Naradji carried and he gave it to Krishna, and Krishna gave it to Rukmani. As Krishna gave it to Rukmani, Satyabhama found out that she's got parijat flower. I don't have a parijat flower. Satyabhama was, you can say, she was, even though Rukmani, Mother Rukmani was the first wife, but Satyabhama was very close. And there's a very nice pastime. Maybe I can share you once. But yeah, there was once they were trying to compare. There was a comparison whom Krishna loves more, Satyabhama or Rukmani. So Satyabhama had that feeling that Krishna loves me more. It's like Kekai felt that Maharaj Dashrath loves me more. So once Lord Krishna, when he had gone, after the flower was given to Rukmani, then Satyabhama was feeling a little bit of enviousness that how come I didn't get that flower? She wanted a flower. So when Lord Krishna went to kill Narakasur, you know, who had the 16,000 princesses, right? So Krishna goes and Satyabhama was with Krishna. When Krishna killed Narakasur, then after killing them, from there, because Narakasur had stolen the earrings of Mother Diti. Mother Diti, who is the mother of demigods. So he had stolen those earrings. So Krishna, when killed him, he took those earrings and he said, I will go and give it to Mother Diti. So Krishna and Satyabhama, they went to heaven. As they went to heaven, now Sachi, Mata Sachi, who is Indra's wife, they welcomed Krishna and Satyabhama. And they greeted each other very nicely. And she embraced, Sachi Mata embraced Satyabhama. And Indra paid his obeisances to Lord Krishna. Then they went to meet Mother Diti. As Krishna went to see Mother Diti, Krishna touched Mother Diti's feet. He offered his obeisances to her. And then the Satyabhama met with her as a daughter-in-law. I mean, all those loving exchanges were done. And then Mother Diti is glorifying Krishna. Oh, you are the Supreme Lord. I mean, these are very nice prayers. Yeah. So she's glorifying Lord Krishna. You are Supreme Lord. You are this. After that, everything happened. Now Satyabhama spotted Parijat tree. She spotted Parijat tree. She said, I want this tree. She told Krishna, I want this tree. And then something happened. She actually uprooted the tree. As she uprooted the tree, you see, they exchanged so many loving, exchange. Just recently, greetings were exchanged. Now, Mother Sachi got upset. And she said, how can you take this tree? Who are you? You have come from a mortal world. You are planning to take tree from the heavenly planets. I will not let you take these heavenly planets. And then, as she said to Mother Satyabhama, then Satyabhama got back to her. She said, who are you? You are calling me mortal. You are a daughter of a demon. Maidana's daughter, Mother Sachi, she's daughter of Maidana, who was a demon. She said, you are a daughter of a demon. You are telling me this. I have come from mortal world. My husband is Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can you say that to me? And then she says, I'm going to take this tree from here regardless. And then Mother Sachi, then she instigates Indra. He said, what kind of Indra you are? See, they are going to take the tree from here. Stop them. They have come from the mortal world. Suddenly she forgot that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And then Indra said, okay, I'm going to fight with you. And there was a fight between Indra and then Indra threw his Vajra at Lord Krishna. See, to that extent, Krishna got hold of that Vajra and he threw it back at Indra. So there was that fight happening. And in that fight, Indra was defeated. He fainted. As he fainted, then Satyabhama again started chastising Mother Sachi. He's the king of the demigods. See, I told you, my husband is Supreme Personality of God. Then Indra got his consciousness back. And Indra then realized. Indra said, yes, he is the Supreme Lord. It is my great fortune. I've been defeated by him. And he went and then he bowed down to Lord Krishna and he asked forgiveness. And then they said, yes, you can take this Parijat tree. You can take this Parijat tree, and along with Parijat tree, Indra also gave this Sudharma Sabha. This assembly came from heaven. He says along with tree. So bottom one is the tree, Parijat tree, and so this is Sudharma assembly. It was in Indralok. So now Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he's inquiring from Arjun, that is that Supreme Lord who is living in his Sudharma Sabha, is he okay? So he was suspecting maybe Indra might have attacked them again. See, all kind of bad omens, we start thinking unexpected. So he's specifically asking, is that Supreme Lord? And he asks, he is protected, he is covered, Avrita, Suhrida Avrita. He is covered by his, well-wishers. Is he keeping well in that Sudharma Sabha? And then he also asks all those, all those queens, Satyabhama and all, because they from heaven, they brought that Parijat tree. Are they doing well? So Prabhuji Mati, I took this picture of Parijat tree. This is still there in India. So you can go and take darshan of this tree next time you go. Yeah. Now, a little bit just more and then we will. So this Parijat tree, it came when they were doing churning of the ocean. So as you can see the tree there, can you see?
Where was the tree?
Okay, I'll tell you now. This is in UP, Uttar Pradesh. There is a place called Barabanki. So there, this is the signboard in that place now. Yeah. So read this. So this is a place called Kintur, about 38 kilometers east of district headquarters Barabanki. And it was named after Kunti. Actually, twice the Parijat tree was brought down from heaven. Once Arjun brought Parijat tree for his mother Kunti, because she started doing prayers before the Mahabharata war, and she would offer one Parijat flower to Lord Shiva every day. So Arjun got one tree for his mother. So this tree, because Dwarka Nagari, it sunk into the water, but this tree, Arjun brought for his mother. So this is east of the district headquarters Barabanki. It was named after Kunti, mother of Pandavas. There are a number of legends about this tree, and I have told you one. Arjun brought this tree for Mother Kunti because she was offering one flower, crown Lord Shiva with his flowers, and others is Lord Krishna brought it for Satyabhama. So you should, when you go next time, if you have an opportunity, you must take this darshan. It has come from the heaven. And Indian government has declared this a heritage or something, so it is being looked after. So it's there. So I just thought I will share that with you. Yeah. And the Krishna brought this tree. So now as Yudhishthira Maharaj was inquiring, I think we just, we have to fast track a little bit. Now after this, Maharaj Yudhishthira, now he asked further questions, and I will just talk through these questions. And these are very important for our own behavior. So he's asking these questions. He's saying, is your health all right? So far, Arjun has not spoken. Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking question after question. He asks, are our relatives okay? He asks, is Krishna okay? He's living in that sabha. He's surrounded by his, followers, right? Well-wishers. Then he asks Arjun again, is your health all right? You appear to have lost your bodily lust. Were you disrespected or neglected due to your long stay in Dwarka? So there is a lesson for us. If you go, if you go and do a long stay, then were you disrespected? Yeah. Were you addressed with unfriendly words? Did someone threaten you? Did you fail to give charity that you had promised? Yeah. Nowadays, you see, we get threatened. We get, we go and we overstay at places. People disrespect us. We still continue. Right? We still say, "Kya farak padta hai?" Does not matter. But they are not allowed. Right? This is not good. Did you fail to give charity? We so many times we promise and then we just turn our back. Right? Like I said, you are doing karma from your man also. So be careful, be alert. If you promise something, you should honor your words. Dharam na dusar satya samana. When Maharaj Dashrath, when Lord Ram was going to the forest, then Lakshman told Lord Ram that all the praja, all the people in Ayodhya, they are with you. We can just take over Dashrath. He's an old man. Lord Ram said no. So honor your words. Yeah. Could you not protect deserving candidates, Brahman, children, cows, women, right? Were they when they sought your shelter? Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Have you improperly treated a deserving woman? Have you been defeated by someone who is inferior or equal to you? It was very important in Kshatriya. They would never like to be defeated. Arjuna was happy to be defeated by Bhishma Pitama, but he could not be defeated by Kṛṣṇa. So he wanted to defeat him. He wanted to beat him. Have you taken your meals alone without feeding elders and children? Srila Prabhupada, I remember he once made a statement. In a grasta, it is our duty that 3 times we should feed someone. If you're taking your meals twice, you should feed someone twice. If you go in villages, I still remember my grandfather. Before he starts eating, he will take half the roti and he will put it aside. Half he will put for the birds, half he will put for the dogs in the street. And the birds will be on the roof, and then after eating, he will just throw. And the dogs will be waiting there on the street. So this is a grasta, very important. We should take something out. We should take a vow. We should plan something. Yeah. So it helps our adhyatmic. This is not some kind of a charity or pride in charity, but this has to be done. This is very important for a grasta. You should not eat alone. Right? I mean, other day we were talking to one Mati. She was saying, you know, where had those days gone where people will go in the street, in the villages. They will say, oh, please come. This is evening time. Please come and take your dinner and then go. People will invite each other. You come and take prasad, eat something and then go. Nowadays, it's not safe, but we should plan. Very important. We should plan something. Take some piece out of it. We tried something at home, but my children, what they were doing then, when they can't finish their meals, they will say, Papa, this is for the birds. No. You know, when it is too much in their plate, they will keep half aside. This is for the birds. Now they should do it for the birds before. But somehow we start. Lagan, are you listening? Yeah. Take half bread for the birds. Okay. Take something for the birds whenever you eat. And your whole life you will do very well. Yeah. Good. So we should do that. Right. And then he said, have you committed some abominable and unpardonable mistake? So he asked. Now, so far, Arjun hasn't spoken. And then finally, now I haven't spoken about, or we haven't discussed what Arjun knows about Dwarka as yet. These are still apprehensions. These are still fears of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Maybe next time we'll talk about now what happened when Arjun went to Dwarka. That is a whole together different. So here Arjun is speaking to Vasudeva. So by now, all the Yadavas had been killed. Lord Krishna had left. Before Lord Krishna left, he sent a message for Arjun. Or, you know, and then that's how Yudhishthira Maharaj sent Arjun to Dwarka. So here now Arjun comes and he meets Vasudevji. He finds out what has happened. So far he doesn't know. Right? So now Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, Kachid preshta tamen ath Hraden atmana bandhuna shunyosmi rahito nityam mannesete anyathana. Then he says, or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? So far he asked all the questions. Now he thinks maybe he has lost Lord Krishna. Oh, my brother Arjun, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected. And indeed, that's what had happened. So this is Lord Krishna going back to his abode. So Lord Krishna had gone back to his abode, and this is what Arjun found out. So disappearance of Krishna. We will discuss actual disappearance of Lord Krishna in 11th canto. In 11th canto, it is fully described, you know, and this is Lord Krishna when he's going back. Actually, I will just maybe another quickly, I will tell you when once Lord Krishna was there in Dwarka and all the demigods came, Brahmaji, Indra, Rudra, Shiva, everyone they came and they paid their obeisances to Lord Krishna. And then first they glorified Krishna, all the demigods. That is the first thing. Before, you know how we go to someone's place and we say, you know, this is the reason I've come for. No, the etiquette is they first go and they glorify him. So they glorified Lord Krishna. And in the conclusion of their prayers, now this is what in our lives also, if the Krishna is not here in his bodily form, in Archa Vigraha form, like say the, you know, we have the deities here, but we are not fortunate to be on this earth. So here, these demigods, what they are saying is that, my dear Lord, you have left two kind of rivers on this earth, or you will leave two kind of rivers on this earth. One river is your katha, is your stories, your Leela katha, and another river is Ganges. So demigods, all the demigods, Brahmaji, they are telling Lord Krishna, and they are saying that, my dear Lord, people who are really interested to progress in their adhyatmic, in their spiritual life, they will take advantage of these two rivers. And these two rivers, Shamlani Hantum, they can kill all the sinful reactions, these two rivers. And how they benefit from these two rivers is, number one, he's saying, Anu Shravam. Anu Shravan, Shravam Shrutibhir. They are hearing your katha. So Leela Katha, by hearing your Leela Katha, and your other river, which is Ganges, which has come from your feet, which is the washing of your feet. So they can go and take a dip in the Ganges, right? That's how they can clean themselves. And by hearing your Katha, your pastimes, my dear Lord, these are the two options. By using these two options, they will be purified. And for Kali Yuga, for our time, now if these are not accessible to all of us, the easiest method for us is Harinam Sankirtan. Kali Yuga era dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. Yeah. Yesterday we had Srivas Pandit appearance day. Yeah. So I'll take 2 more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. So you see the Panch Tattva there. Right? We should know what is in our altar. Sometimes we just go and bow down. So on the Panch Tattva, on this side of the Laddu Gopalji, in the middle is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the left is Nityanand Prabhu, and on the left of Nityanand Prabhu is Advaita Acharya, who is incarnation of Mahavishnu. So these three are Vishnu Tattva. On the right hand side of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Gadadhar, who is internal energy, who is an incarnation of Radharani. And on the right hand side of Gadadhar is Srivas Pandit, who is an incarnation of Naraji. Yeah. So yesterday was the appearance day of Srivas Pandit, and Srivas Pandit, he had named his house Srivas Angan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will hold Kirtan nights there, tumultuous Kirtan nights every day. And once they were doing the Kirtan there, and during the Kirtan, suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made a statement that I'm not getting that same bliss that we used to get other day. That bliss is missing, that bliss is missing. Right? But in parallel, what had happened was Srivas Pandit's only son, he had died. Just after the sunset, he had died. But Mahaprabhu will do Kirtan for the whole night. So his son had died, and then women were crying. So Srivas Pandit went into the back room and he told all the women, stop crying. Please stop crying. And the women still did not stop. And then he told them, if you don't stop crying, I will drown myself in the Ganges. And he tells those women, Nitya hoy janam, Nitya hoy maran, kintu Nitya hoy nahi, gaur grihe agaman. Yes. It is not every day that Gaura Chandra Bhagwan comes to your house to do the Kirtan. He says the birth and death will happen Nitya, again and again. It keeps happening. But that will not happen. And then Mataji stopped. They stopped crying. But after the Kirtan stopped, then Mahaprabhu realized that something is missing. And Mahaprabhu said, today there was not bliss. Where is Srivas Thakur? Where is Srivas Pandit? And then Mahaprabhu found out, some devotees told Mahaprabhu that Srivas' son had died. And then Mahaprabhu asked, oh, why didn't you tell me? Then Srivas Pandit said, Mahaprabhu, I did not want to disturb your transcendental pastime. Because you are enjoying the Kirtan, I didn't want to disturb. And then Mahaprabhu tells Srivas Pandit, how can I forget devotees like yourself? How can I ever forget devotees like you? So much surrender to the Harinam Sankirtan. And then Mahaprabhu went back into the back room. And then Mahaprabhu sat next to the dead boy. And then Mahaprabhu started talking. Mahaprabhu told the boy, hey boy, get up. And then that boy stood up. And then Mahaprabhu asked him, why have you left such a nice devotee's house? Why don't you want to stay here? And then that boy told Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, I am working under your control. My time in this house had completed. So I had to leave. And because I'm controlled by your directions, I had to leave and I had to go to the next place. And please bless me that I should always remember your lotus feet. Wherever I go, I should serve your lotus feet. And as the son of Srivas Pandit said this thing, then all the ladies, all the Matajis, they had a great realization. And they stopped the stress. They understood, they got the wisdom. Yeah. And as he spoke the wisdom, everybody stopped crying. And then Mahaprabhu told that boy, okay, you go to your abode and may you always be blessed. And then Mahaprabhu turns to Srivas Pandit and Mahaprabhu tells him, don't worry, from today, me and Nityanand are your son. Mrit putra mukhe kaila gyanera kathan, apan dui bhai hoila Srivas Nandan. From the mouth of the dead son, he made him speak the wisdom. And then he says, from today, me and Nityanand are your son and we will never leave. So such is the glory of these devotees. So Srivas Pandit is the devotee form. So in this Panch Tattva, devotee form, internal energy, and then Vishnu Tattva. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada says that when Supreme Lord comes, so there is a devotee association, there is internal energy, and there are other associates. So he likes to associate with the devotees. Yeah. So with that, Prabhuji Mataji, we'll stop today's session. Yeah. So yeah. So disappearance of Krishna we'll discuss in the 11th chapter. So these are the symptoms, these are the omens that Yudhishthira Maharaj is experiencing. And finally, he asked Arjun that have you lost your dear friend Krishna? Maybe is that the reason for your sadness? And then in the next chapter, now Pandavas will retire. We'll discuss that next. Yeah. So we'll stop here. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So Srila Gurudev ki jai. So Hare Krishna Prabhuji Mataji, we will stop. Now, sorry Harika Mataji, I just saw your message now. The volume was low. Maybe next time if you can message other devotees here, because I don't get to see the chat. But thank you.
No worries, Prabhuji. Now it's good.
Okay, we'll stop. Hare Krishna Mataji, we have to stop and we'll see you next week.
Hare Krishna.